Just give me a count to 5 if you can, Richie.
All right, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
Nice, thanks. All right. Come around the front.
All right.
Make sure the framing's good there. You're not going to move on me, right?
No, I'll stay still.
All right, thanks. Okay. So you'll look at me when you talk.
Okay.
And if you could, if I ask you a question, for example, the first question, you've won Grey Cups as a rider player and now twice as a coach.
Uh-huh.
That's 3 times. It kind of sets you apart. How does that make you feel? So if in your answer, if you could say, having been a part of the organization for 3 Grey Cups, just so, because my question's not going to be in there, right? So
okay.
I'm just going to make sure my red light's on. Okay. So that is my first question, Richie. So having won 3 Grey Cups, how does that make you feel?
Having been part of 3 Grey Cups, the team's won 4 in their history. To be part of 3 of them, I think I'm pretty special. Special in not an arrogance, but special in being very blessed. Because when you look at, I've been here since 1988, and to be here all those years, and to win it in 89, 2007, and still be around in 2013, that's very unique and to me very special.
What was the feeling when you arrived in '88? They had been through that long drought. What was your feeling about it?
Well, it was, I always say it's, me coming here was kind of the blackest day of my career, because in Calgary, I thought we were to become Grey Cup contenders and had a chance to go to the Grey Cup over the next couple of years. We had lost to Edmonton in the semifinals the 2 previous years. And coming to Saskatchewan, they were more in the rebuilding process. But it's, how it turned around in '88, we won we made it to the playoffs the first time in 11 years. And then lo and behold, in '89, to be part of that championship team was very special because, as a player, that's why you play. You play to win championships. And as your career goes, that was my 7th year. You kind of wonder how many more opportunities are you going to actually have to win a Grey Cup before it's time to retire or they retire you.
Very good, thank you. I'm going to jump ahead to 13. Is the feeling this year different than the other 2 wins?
Well, I think the feeling winning Grey Cup in '89, '07, and '13, all of them are very unique differences. I don't think anything will ever replace '89 because I was a player. 2007 had a different story. 2013, what made it very special, not so much winning the Grey Cup, because we set out to do that every year, but it was right here in Saskatchewan. And it was just an unbelievable feeling because the 2 previous years we were in Toronto, and all we did was get a chance to see what they were doing back in Saskatchewan because of by TV. But all of a sudden to be here with the fans, with the best fans in the CFL, or probably of any organization in any major sport, here, and that's what made it special. And to see people crying, and I don't mean young people. I'm talking about older people than I am, men in the stands crying because they got to be part of it. Saskatchewan got to be part of this Grey Cup. And I think that's what made it special, and that's what set it different than any other one.
Great, thank you. Do you think this is the top of the mountain for Rider Nation?
For right now. I think the top of the mountain in 2007 was that. Everything's the top of the mountain in the time and space that it is in. And it doesn't get any better for 2013 than this. 2014, that's another challenge that we have with the Grey Cups in Vancouver. The next time, what makes it set apart here was, again, because it was in Saskatchewan, but it's the last Grey Cup that will ever be at Taylor Mosaic Stadium. So it's kind of like a final hurrah. And if you couldn't have written a better script if you're a Hollywood producer for it to happen the way that it did here in 2013.
As in like a Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks, Martin Short, whoever, it's something that I think it was a global thing, because people from all over the world, because Rider Nation is all over the world, and it's something that you not only bust out your chest, but it's like, gosh, I wish I was back there. I wish I was back there. I don't think this province could have held everyone that wished they could have been here to be part of this celebration.
Exactly. Is there a memory or play from the game that stands out?
Well, I think one there's twofold. One happened on the offensive side when Darian was running. It happened early in the game, and he got hit, and the ball came out. Corey Sheets and 40-something yards later, first down, and then we go score on that drive. And I think that kind of set the tone where whatever could go right for us was going to go right, and whatever could go wrong for Hamilton. And then the second one happened on defense, and Henry Burris wasn't ready for the snap, and it was snapped, and he just kind of froze. Instead of going after the ball, he just kind of looked like this expression, and Alex Hall picked it up. Big turnover for us, which, there was an offensive play, a defensive play that very uncharacteristic as far as the way that they developed. And I think the football guys were looking down on us. And in that instance, it was going to be our day.
Tell me about your post-game celebration.
Oh my goodness gracious. When you look in the stands, again, what makes it unique is no one left. I mean, when you look up in the stands, I'm up in the box and I got a chance to come down and really got a chance to absorb what was actually happening. And to sit there and you see all the black and gold, I mean black and green, or really just green, sea of green on both sides. The people were there embracing it and showing their gratitude and their appreciation. And again, being part of it. It was cold, but they didn't care. They didn't go, they didn't leave. They stayed there. And I know once the stands started filtering, they went to the Green Mile on Albert Street. We stayed on the field, then went into the locker room. Families were in the locker room. And you just see a group of young men became little boys all over again, because that's the jubilation, that's the joy, and that's what makes it special. And that's what playing football, being a team, is all about. You win together, you lose together, you celebrate together, and you have these joyful memories that we had during the course of 2013, and able to climax it at home in our locker room for the championship with our fans. That's what made it very special.
Great, thank you. Just one more thing, and this might probably not pertain to go into the video, but my writer just wanted me to ask you this. Like, you came to the organization, they were broke, virtually, and now, can you just talk about that a little bit?
Well, because I've been here, I came here in 1988, and a team that had been struggling, and I've been able to see the pits, and I've been able to see the mountaintop. And to be able to be here for X amount of years, I've been here and been associated with this organization for 20-something years. And to me, in this day and age, that's unheard of. I've been through a number of head coaches, but I've always been here, and I consider myself very special in that manner, not special in arrogance, like I said, but just special because I've been able to endure a lot of peaks and valleys, just like the organization has, just like the province has, whether it's the farmers or the economy. But to go from being broke on the verge of leaving the CFL to being as high as you can get right now. I mean, it's Rider Nation's known throughout the world. We have the best team. We have the best fans. We're probably one of the strongest financially stable organizations in this league. But that's what hard work does and perseverance does. And I think that shows the character, that shows the makeup of not so much the Roughriders, but the people of Saskatchewan, because it's the people of Saskatchewan that enables the Saskatchewan Roughriders to flourish, to go out there year in and year out. They're the ones that saved us. They're the ones that have stuck behind us. And all we want to do is go out there and represent them in a proudful manner. And I think when you look at our season this year, and you look at not only this year, but you look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the last number of years, it's been pretty special. They've been in 4 Grey Cups over the last X amount of years. I mean, and to win 2 of them, you know, that's pretty special from a team that was what, on the brink of being out of the league. Yeah. You know, but they are one of the true pillars and true cornerstones of the CFL.
Great, thank you. I just need one quick comment about 07. One of your DBs, James
Johnson.
James Johnson. Yeah. Just tell me a little bit about your memories of him in that game, because we do talk about that.
Okay, JJ, MVP. 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown. You know, when you think of Grey Cups, when you think of MVPs, the first thing that always comes to your mind is what? Offensive players. But here's a defensive back who was the impact player in the football game. It was a defensive game, okay? 2 great teams, but the team, the person that made the most impact, it wasn't a quarterback, it wasn't a receiver, it wasn't a running back, but it was a defensive back. You know, he scored a touchdown, had the game-winning interception on that last drive to seal the victory for us. And it was just, again, I'm sure when he looks back over his career, that game just peeks out to him, because you couldn't have played any better and made much of an impact in the most meaningful game of your pro career. And that's a championship game.
Sorry, I just stepped on you there. Were you sad to see him move on the next year?
Oh yeah, you're always sad. You know, you're always sad to see players.
You moved on the next year too, didn't you?
No, I was here.
Oh,
I was here until
10, 11?
9.
Okay.
9. But you know, you're always sad. But you know, that's the nature of our sport. You know, that's the nature of our world. It's a constant changing world, constant changing sports. You know, week to week, and what makes it special is when you talk about the 07 or the 89 team, the first thing that comes out to me is the players, the team itself, not the game, not the season, but the memories about those guys, because those guys, the memories, that's what makes it special. You know, the money is spent, you know, you got your jewelry, but when you start thinking about it, gosh, that was our family. You know, we cried together, we shed blood together, we had smiles together, we loved each other, we played for each other. But every time you think about those, you put a smile on your face, because that's what it's all about, that unity and that coming together as a team. And, you know, when I think about 07, you know, I think about JJ, I think about Eddie Davis, I think about Jeremy O'Day, Gene Mikowski, Chris Zarka, these guys that in 1999, we were the laughingstocks of the CFL. We were 3-15. And again, for us to all still be together in 2007 and hold that trophy to be champions, that's what it's all about, perseverance.
Great. That's all I need.
Is that okay?
That was awesome. That was very awesome. You never know what kind of an interview you're going to get, but that was very good. Thank you.
You know, it's funny because when you talk about those 3, there are 3 distinctive differences in those games. So
yeah.
When I think of the 89 season, I think of, you know, for me as a player, probably in the greatest Grey Cup ever.
Yeah.
To be part of that.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm a defensive player and it was an offensive game, but there was good defensive plays, but it was a very entertaining game.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't.
And even how we got there. You know, we were 9-9. Edmonton was 16-2. They had beat us by 20-something points the last game of the season. We almost didn't make the playoffs because we lost to BC. Rockhampton scored 3 plays with no time left on the clock. Then when you talk about the 2007, you know, like I said, 7 years later, you know, we were the laughingstocks of the CFL. Yeah. You know, almost folded in 96 or something like that. Yeah. And all of a sudden, still to be able to be still with the team. Yeah. I felt very privileged, and to see when Gino held up that trophy and was crying. Yeah. Yeah. It's all worth it. That's why you play the game.
Oh, for sure.
And then here in 2013, to have it at home. Yeah, yeah. You know, to go out and set out, and that was our goal. Yeah. And we didn't want to give up our locker room. Yeah. And we got off to a great start, you know, and we had a hiccup in the road, you know, but that hiccup made us tough to endure what we had to go through in the playoffs. Yeah, yeah, no kidding. And it's just getting to the playoffs.
Well, you know, the guy I have to tip my hat to is Brendan. You know, like he took so much flack there a few years ago, and kind of turned it around a little bit with the organization.
Well, you know, excuse me, his position is just like Corey's position, just like Darian's position. Is you get too much credit on one end, you get too much blame on the other end, and you forget that it's more than one person. It's an entire team. And so when you're able to see the picture, and everyone else see the picture that you're trying to create, that's what makes it worthwhile. To be able to see these guys work hard, and every team does it. Okay, that you go out and work hard, and this is what you're trying to do, and then when you execute it, and things happen to turn out the way that you want them to turn out, that you give yourself a chance. You sit there, you don't feel proud, but you feel happy for those guys. Those guys. I know Brennan feels happy for Corey. I know Corey feels happy for Brennan because he's entrusted him with this football team. He gave him every opportunity, and you know something? We're doing this for you. Because you show that trust in us. No different than us to the fans. Right. Stay with us. Because even when that week, that period of time when we lost 4 in a row, the reality is this: whatever team goes to a championship, they're going to struggle at some point in time of the season. It's just a matter of, are you going to be able to steal a couple of games? Because when Edmonton was 16-2 that year, they weren't a 16-2 team. They won 16 games because they struggled. There's a couple of games in there that they won instead of losing. Well, we lost those games, okay? But at the end of the day, they were 16-2 and didn't get a Grey Cup. Right. We were 11-7.
And maybe you losing those games is a bit of an advantage because you got to get back to the drawing board. And
but it makes you tougher. Adversity makes you tougher. And at times we played well. What it makes you do is makes you go back to the drawing board, like you said. And what did it take for us to be successful? It took care of us, taking care of those little things, being very detailed as coaches, being very simple, for the players to be very focused, and to do what is asked of you to do. Because when you do those kinds of things, we saw the results. Then all of a sudden, because you're winning, then whether you relax, you start trying to do too much, or this and that, your focus isn't where it's supposed to be. Then what's going to happen is you're going to struggle and you're going to stumble. So what it took us, because I was talking to Corey the other day, and I had forgot that we had lost our last 2 games of the season going to the playoffs. But you would never have known that being around those guys, because that's how focused they were. And if we would have lost in the playoffs, then we would have lost in the playoffs, but it wasn't going to be because of lack of preparation and lack of focusness. It's just we got beat by a better team. But we were the best team when it counted. We were the best team at parts during the season, okay? But we're the best team at the end.
There had to be a lot of pressure with the Grey Cup being at home, though.
So I think that's a fan thing. Because the pressure is this. Our pressure is that we want to be in the Grey Cup every year. It doesn't matter where it's at. I guess, because the whole thing that you want to teach your players, and the one thing that you want to teach yourself, is you want to have an unconditional attitude. And the unconditional means it doesn't matter where the Grey Cup is. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We got to go out there and execute and play well. And if we do that, we give ourselves a chance. The Grey Cup could have been some other place. The fans were caught up in it because it's here, and they want to see their team here. Well, when we start off the season next year in May, we want to be in Vancouver. No more, no less than we want to be here or there. But it's the outside that puts that focus on a certain thing. So regarding pressure, the pressure to go out there and play well each week is there. Regardless of where the Grey Cup is.
I suppose.
And when people keep bringing it up, that's where you kind of, as a player, you kind of get tired of hearing it, because I know this. The Grey Cup was going to be played November 24th. Regardless. We don't know if Saskatchewan's going to be there. So that date was already etched in stone. So there was no pressure for us to be there other than any other team. That's what you want to do.
But it was exciting because in 95 and 03, we didn't have a hope in hell. 95, I don't think we made the playoffs.
No, we didn't make the playoffs. The whole thing is, that's what you always want to do, is you always want to create an opportunity for you to get there. And it's preparation in the off season. And a lot of times how you approach the off season with your Grey Cup being here versus your Grey Cup being some other place, because there's rebuilding years or reloading years, ever how you want to term that. But you want to give your fans an opportunity to sit there and say, we got a chance to be here. Will we be here or not? You don't know.
Yeah.
Because Edmonton was 16-2.
Yeah.
And they didn't go to the Grey Cup.
No.
I was talking to Corey, and he said Calgary 3 years, they were 15-3.
Yeah.
And never went to the Grey Cup.
I know.
So that's not a guarantee. All that does is it positions you for the playoffs, and you got to win one game, or you got to win 2 games in the playoffs in order to get to the big dance.
Yeah.
So it's like that pressure thing. Pressure is relevant to the time, to the situation. They talk about pressure on a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
With 2 seconds left, you're down by 1. Okay. Is that any more pressure than if it's in the first quarter and the score is 9-10?
Yeah.
Suppose you never get another opportunity to kick another field goal the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So if you miss that one, then what? You lost the game then too.
Yeah.
But you don't look at it as the first quarter. It's everything's in that time, in that space. And that's why I look at I look at the game.
Right.
Where it doesn't put so much emphasis on one game or on one play.
Right.
What we tell our players is what's the most important play? The play that we're playing right now.
Yeah.
That's the most important. It doesn't matter what happens before or what happens afterward, because you don't know what's going to happen afterwards.
Right.
That's why you got to take care of this play.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate
that.
Get that mic from you.
No problem.
I think I don't know where you put the plaque. Is it in your pocket, probably.
Sorry, I'm glad I was able to accommodate you.
No worries.
I hope I didn't mess up your schedule too much.
No, not at all. I'm glad you were able to get here.